name's Marie and this is my yarn journey. Hope you are well. I might get a few interruptions today, so I do apologise if the video is a bit stoppy-starty. I'm hoping that I'm filming early enough that won't happen, but my fella is getting ready for going on a 48-hour fishing trip, and the boys haven't yet got up, so we might be in luck, but I am waiting for a food delivery. So yeah, it's all happening today. Busy. It's been a very busy week and I've been a bit delayed recording this, but hopefully I'll still get it out for you this evening. Yeah, if you want to connect with me in any way, there is lots of ways you can do that in the description box below. I have my email address down there. I've also got a Discord where you can obviously show photos, not just chat, which is always really nice to see what you are working on. It always inspires me. I think there was a lovely post of a shawl on there that one of my viewers is making at the moment in beautiful brown autumnal colours, and yeah, that was really nice to see what she is working on. Also, I am on Instagram and it's Marie's_yarn_journey, and feel free to connect with me on Instagram. And if you'd like to help the channel, you could always buy me a pattern on my wish list or treat me to a coffee or a glass of wine on my Ko-fi account, and all the links are in the description. Anyway, let's get on to the interesting bit. And the first thing that I want to talk about today is a finished object, and it's what I'm wearing. And this is the Winnie top by Lily Kate France. Now, I managed to knit this. It was on 4.5mm to be fair, but it's fingering weight, although the pattern's DK. And it's taken me a week to knit. So if you haven't seen last week's episode where I discussed this in length, I had a few false starts when making this, and it was because my gauge was off, but also because I was getting quite a dense fabric with this yarn held double, which is what the pattern is for. Well, the sample is knit in Cardiff cashmere, and that is a light DK as far as I'm aware. I've never used that yarn. This fingering weight, it turns out, even though you get 393 meters per skein, it was leaning heavy and was causing quite a dense fabric when I was holding it double. So I've ended up knitting with it single. It's Ula and Leah. It is the 85% sheep wool and 15% cashmere. It's knit up lovely. I was a little bit worried it might be a little bit see-through. Hopefully it's not on camera. I think it's absolutely fine. Absolutely love the depth of the V on this. Lily's got it perfect in this pattern, and it was easy to knit, even though it's got the lace on, which I hope you can see. It has blocked out nicely, and it's on the bottom hem as well. Apologies if you can see Vinny's hairs in this sweater. That's the only thing with this yarn, his hairs do seem to cling to it, and also it's a tiny bit on the prickly side for me, but I wouldn't say I'm sensitive, but I like a softer yarn. I prefer a softer yarn. This is a little bit itchy. I'm hoping that, like with the Paul sweater, it does soften up, but with this just being a sheep wool blend and not knowing what actual sheep it is, I don't know if it's a more rustic or a soft. But I've only blocked it the once, so maybe once it's had a couple of washes as well and a couple of wears, it might be better. I think the fit turned out lovely. What I have struggled with this, and I wanted to ask your advice, because obviously Lily Kate is relatively young, quite significantly younger than me, But for some reason, I originally had decided with this that I would knit it. I would knit it. I would knit it with the idea to wear it date night scenario with a blue knitted skirt that I've got. Now, when I tried it on with that, unfortunately, for some reason, I don't know what it is, but that outfit combination just looked quite frumpy on me. Yeah, so I knew that wasn't going to work. And when I wore this the other day, I've worn it once. Actually, to be fair, the more that you wear it throughout the day, the itchiness does thingy, but I can feel it here prickling me under the arms. But yeah, I wore it with a pair of jeans, and even then I was a bit like, I'm not sure if this is really the vibe I'm going for. And if it suits me and all that sort of thing. But I've put it on today for the podcast with these black, I'll just stand up again, I've got these black trousers on that I wear all the time. Really wish I'd get another pair of these, but I have struggled because they're so comfy, they look smart, and they go with a lot of my knitted garments, so I do wear them a lot, so when they do wear out I will be upset. Yeah, so it's been quite hard to style this top. I think the fit of it turned out fabulous. So with me going up to the 4.5mm, because the pattern asks for you to use 3.75, I'm quite a tighter knitter. I wasn't hitting gauge. I knew that row gauge was going to be really important in the way this pattern is constructed. And I decided to, excuse me, yeah, make sure that I was getting close to that row gauge, which was a 4.5, even though I was a little bit worried the fabric would be see-through. But I think it's turned out pretty good, and it means that the drape is lovely on this. It flows nicely, and the lace has turned out nice. Overall, I'm just so pleased, and I'm still in awe of the 3-needle bind off on the right side of the work, and the way she's made that look so neat on these finishing edges. Looks fantastic. Also makes me think that I've potentially been knitting the wrong size in Lily Kate's patterns. I've maybe been knitting a size bigger than I should have done, and that's maybe why my fit's been off for me. And yeah, so I'm going to bear that in mind. It also makes me think about maybe trying the under lace top. If I knit that one as well, I could compare. See, this style of this is something I would definitely be drawn to as a bought top, but for some reason I'm finding it hard to style. So let me know if you've knit the Winnie top. I'd highly recommend this pattern. A joy to do. Knit this up relatively quickly, and yeah, there's not much more to say about it, other than I probably wish now that I'd actually knit this in Cardiff cashmere, because it would be feeling much better on my body. But I love the colour. Again, I'm not sure if this colour suits me, but I absolutely love purple, so yeah. And I think that's all I wanted to say about the Winnie top. If you have any questions whatsoever, pop them in the comments down below and I will answer them. It was a relatively quick knit, and yeah, I've only mentioned it twice and it's a finished object, so that's pretty good really, isn't it? And that means I have got a new cast on, which is great. So 2 other whips that I have worked on this week. So this was finished pretty much not long after the podcast last week. I think it was the day after. And then while I was editing, I think I told you I was going to work on this, and I decided to. And I think what I need to do, because I find this is very slow going, I think I've told you that. It doesn't seem to grow at all, and the yarn does not seem to go down. So this has been put in my tea cake and makes bag. This is one of the small ones, and this is just going to live next to my chair there. And I thought what I need to do, because I really would like to get this done for him so he's got it for winter. You know, it's a really gorgeous fabric. Now, this top would have been lovely in this, but I would have had to hold it double, that's for sure. And these aren't my colours. This is For the Love of Yarn, and it's a blend, and I haven't got the tag if I remember rightly, but as I was saying, I think what I need to do is put a progress keeper in. If I commit to working on this every time I'm editing a video, then or at least when I'm editing the podcast, which is once a week, I think I could potentially, you know, start seeing some progress on it. So while I'm thinking about it, I'm going to pick out a progress keeper from my Notions pouch. Absolutely love this Notions pouch. I think it was actually, it's actually a pencil case made by the wife of the cafe owner in Ambleside that we go to quite often. She often has lots of different wonderful bags and stuff that she sews that are on display in the cafe to be able to be purchased. Just trying to find, oh, have I not put them in here? You know when you have a big sort through and then you forget what you've done? Ah, here we are. Right, what shall we have? Let's have a look. Something that's going to stand out against the brown and be easy for you to see. I think this one will be quite a good one. Just a purple one that I got from East Anglia Yarn Festival. And I can't remember the stall holder's name, but she does buttons as well and other stuff. Ethel and something. I'm sure you've heard of her. I think that's the stand I got this from, but don't quote me on it. Oof, can't get it in. Okay, there we go. So that's the progress keeper in. So then it'll be nice to see how much I managed to do while I'm editing this podcast later today. And that's the first project that I wanted to talk to you about. Put that away. And the second whip that I worked on, which is in my woolly tangle bag. And ta-da! Actually finally started working on my Mermaid Avenue socks by Summer Lee. I decided to start the heel from where I was. And I have to be honest here, when I did pick this up, I actually read the pattern incorrectly. But I'm still hopeful that it will be absolutely fine. It's only that it asks you to increase on the heel flap and I didn't do so. So we shall see if I can get it over my heel. Watch this space for an update when I go to try this stock on. And this is the yarn that I'm using. It's from the Copper Kettle and it's last year's Gingerbread House. And I absolutely love this yarn. It's very, very soft. It's got lots of lovely colours, and what I like is the amount of pink that goes through that. It's wonderful. It's very nice to knit with, and I think I chose a good one, you know, a good colour to go with the pattern. I probably won't be doing any on this in the next couple of days. I've only done about half my heel flap there, but what I've done this week, and I can't even remember what day it is, been so busy this week. I haven't had masses of knitting time, but I actually went through all my whips again and had a look at them all, and they're actually all down the side here now, shock horrors, apart from my Advertence blanket, which is in the cupboard, just because it's bulky in that bag, and because I've got so many whips, it just fills this area. So I'm off work this week and I thought, let's have a go at how many of these whips can I get off the needles, challenge myself. We've not got loads of plans. We are doing a few things here and there, but we're trying to have quite a relaxing week. The boys are at the dad, so shouldn't have very many distractions. And yeah, let's see if I can get a few off the needles and how many finished objects I'll have by the end of the week. It'll be really nice to get some that I've been putting off, such as like doing the thumb on the mittens. And the last project that I want to talk about, and this is the first project to go in my absolutely stunning bag from My Creative Garage. I went out this week for the first time with my new project bag. It had its first outing at a new knitting group. And it's at El Tano, which is a wine bar near to me on a local park. And it is, on a Tuesday afternoon. So I went along to that this week. And I took this with me. I took the sock as well, so I did some on there. And this is a new cast on. Made quite a bit of progress, although I have had to think about it quite a few times. Very simple pattern. It's the Nightlights by Andrea Mowry. I was inspired by Vanessa at My Creative Garage because she did a version of this with the navy and the kawaii colourway. Now, I bought 3 skeins of the kawaii colourway, if you saw last week's podcast, in mind of doing a top. And I've tentatively picked out a design for that. So I may be able to get that cast on this week, but let's see how many whips I get done. And I also purchased from Vanessa in that same order 2 skeins of this beautiful DK Sakura yarn. And she gave me 2 skeins, one lightly speckled, one heavily speckled, so because she knew I was doing it for this. So I've started with the lightly speckled colourway. I showed my mum this yesterday and she really, really liked how the colours are popping on there. And she said it looks like I've used more than 2 colourways because of the pops of pink, which I thought it did look very nice. Now, what I want to say about this pattern is if you're good at memorising pattern repeats, you should be able to do that with this, but it is a 16 row repeat. I have sort of got it in my mind, but I do have to glance at the pattern to check, because you're doing rows of 4. So 4 times 4 rows, 4 stripes is the repeat. I do have to look to see when I'm doing what types of increases. Now, I'm sure that if you're good at memorising patterns, then you would be able to memorise this quite easily, but I just found with this one, I can't. If it was a 4 row repeat, I'd be absolutely fine, but it's just not. So for some reason, I'm not managing to memorise it. So that does mean that I do need to be able to look at the pattern when I'm doing it. And I have had to think back a couple of times where I've not been concentrating and I thought I was on a certain row and I wasn't. What has surprised me with this pattern, I'm absolutely loving how it's turning out, and I'm so glad that I decided to do this. I have bought extra of the navy blue yarn, so I'm hopeful that I can do a hat and some mittens to go with it. So I've got a new winter set for this winter, which will be lovely. After knitting this top in a week, knitting on this and it seeming to go on for such a long time, I just somehow it in my head it was like, oh, that won't take me long to do. But I'm enjoying the process. It's nice to be knitting on a nice bouncy yarn because those two are lovely and soft, and yeah, nice to knit on and, you know, slide across the needles nice and easily. So the flow's good once you get going, but obviously you start off, don't you, on a very small, so when you get to the rows they start getting a bit bigger. It's a bit more of a flow when you're knitting, just each row then starts to take longer. But yeah, I'm so pleased that I decided to knit that, and that I didn't just end up getting, although it would have been beautiful as a sock, I really am glad that I managed to do something different with that yarn and get the DK from Vanessa, because I've got so many single skeins to get through in my cupboard that, you know, it's nice that I'm doing something different other than a sock with those. Okay, so the next thing that I wanted to talk to you about was some acquisitions. And one of my lovely viewers made a yarn suggestion to go with my fusion fibre, I think it is, yarn that I'd got for the Tea of Dreams by Claire Jackson. And as I discussed last time, the fabric that I was getting when knitting with that held single, it's a very light fingering. It's a lovely blend. It's very soft, but it just isn't going to be a fabric that I'm going to like. Opposite to this one is in that it's too open, much too open. And I was a bit disheartened with that, but I thought, do you know what? I still want to use that for that top regardless, so I need to hold it with another yarn. And one of my lovely viewers told me that this yarn from West Yorkshire Spinners was on sale. And I hadn't found something that I was totally happy with. And as I'd said, those skeins that I'd bought for the Tea of Dreams were relatively expensive. So I didn't want to be spending masses on getting something to hold with it. So I ended up getting 2 skeins of this, which is the West Yorkshire Spinners Exquisite, and it's a 4-ply, 80% Falkland wool and 20% mulberry silk. It feels lovely and soft, and I think that it'll give quite a moody vibe. The other void colourway that I have for the top is quite dark purple, but yeah, I thought it would make a nice mauve. And I've not used this yarn before, and it's quite nice to be able to try, because I do want to try a lot more commercial yarns and find ones that I can reach to time and time again for stuff. But it was good, this was on sale, so got it for half price. And I just got 2 of those. So this month the ins are quite heavy, with My Creative Garage at 500, then the Navy yarn 450 grams, and then the West Yorkshire Spinners 200. So I think that makes it 1,150 that's come in this month. And then this top ended up using 161 grams of the 3 skeins I've got. So it would have been nice to have been 150, because I would have thought, oh yeah, well I can make another top out of that. So I can't believe I only used that amount of yarn. Yeah, I'm pretty pleased with that. But that now I'm left with just under 1.5 skeins of this yarn again to make something else. So we shall see. It's in my stash anyway, and I've kept it together and I've written what weight I've got left. So if I do come to use it again, I'll know what to do with that. And then I just wanted to quickly talk to you a bit about next week's plans. So I've teased at it already. I am challenging myself next week to see which of these whips I can get off my needles. Hopefully a pair of socks, maybe finish those mittens. I've got the Daft Days cardigan. So I'm part way through the first sleeve because I had to rip that back because it was too small. And I hope I've written notes on what I did for that. If not, I'm going to have to go back and watch a few old videos, I think. And I'm sure that I picked up the amount of stitches for the next size up, but I'll have to clarify that before doing the second sleeve or counting my stitches or whatever. This is what happens when you just leave stuff lying around, isn't it? Note to self, will I learn? Probably not. Anyway, I've got the Daft Days cardigan to finish. I've got my no frills. I've got 1 sleeve to do on that, which shouldn't take me too long. Have I got any other big garments? I don't think so. All the others are small things. So hopefully I can get it to a point by the end of the week where they all fit inside the basket. That would be a first, wouldn't it? Apart from obviously my 2 blankets. And then I just wanted to quickly talk about books, because I have devoured this book this week. Filthy Rich Fae. This is book 2. I think I showed you that I got this when I went to Kirby Lonsdale. went in a bookshop there, and this was in the new releases section, and I picked it up. Unbeknownst to me, it was number 2. So when I came home, I ordered book 1, and then I started reading them. And the first book was really good. I enjoyed it. 4 out of 5. This one was like a 4.5, maybe a 5 out of 5, to be honest, because when I got to about, I'd say about a third of the way in, it was super gripping. And I don't want to say too much. It's, as you can see, it's called Filthy Rich Fae, so it is about fae and werewolves and vampires, the world that it's set in, all those creatures are about, and humans as well. But it was such a gripping story. There was so many twists, well, not twists and turns, but there was lots going on, and it was when I got to halfway, for definite, all I wanted, I couldn't put it down. I was just like, I wanted to read the next chapter. To find, I kept saying to myself, just read a chapter and see what's going on. But I really like the characters in this book. Now, this is her current series, so I'm hopeful that there will be a couple more in this series, but she does have, and which was her original series, I think, in this line of books, Filthy Rich Vampire. Now, I do quite like vampire fae stories, so after I'd read the first book of this, I actually went on and ordered all 4 of the vampire series. Now I'm presuming that series is complete, so it's going to be really nice to read them back to back. It might be one that I start next after, because I've started a new book, and I'll show you that. I thought I didn't want to just dive straight into the vampire ones. I wanted to read something in between, and so this is the book that I decided to read. It's just one that I'd picked up at Tesco's, I think. It's the Forgotten Book Club by Kate Storey, and already it's not going to be, I'm not going to be reading this for very long. There's only 300 pages or just over. I'm already that way through. It's what I would say about this book is it's a very easy read, very cozy read, but it's good for a cozy read. And the way it's heading at the moment, I'm very, very interested about it. So basically, this book, the main character, her husband, she's an elderly woman, her partner has passed away. He used to, for years, run a book club, and she never got involved in that because she wasn't into it, and now she started going to the book club, and it's just really, really good. And she's picked up reading. And yeah, I'm happy to see how this book goes. Real cozy, nice read, but a good cozy read, not too basic. And I think that's all that I wanted to say about that. I am off with my partner tonight. He's doing a 48-hour fishing trip. I'm joining in tonight and a bit of tomorrow. I'm hoping to take my knitting again, so I might just vlog a bit of that for you. And yeah, next week I am hoping, along with working on the whips, like I've said, I'm hoping to do that last sleeve on the no frills, and I can do a block and try and all that, and I'll record that to finish up that series. I know it's taken a while, I'm so sorry about that. And then I may start, if I get time, on the next one, which is the summer top. I know again it's a bit late and it's the end of the season, but hopefully it'll be there ready for anyone that's looking for something to knit beginning of next summer, or if you just fancy doing one end of summer, because it is quite a quick knit eclipse. And yeah, I'm just going to have a bit of a chilled week. So thank you very much if you've got this far and you've got to the end. If you got to the end, if you leave a tent emoji in the comments. And yeah, I will see you next week. Bye.